Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's project is going to be combining swing coats and Lord of the Rings. Every Christmas season, my husband and I started a new tradition where we watched the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And we watched the extended edition, of course, which was just hours of Tolkien goodness. And as I was watching the film, I still have on my wish list to make one of the Lothlorien cloaks that Lady Galadriel gives to the Fellowship in the first movie. However, I will not be making that today, but I will be attempting to give a traditional swing coat some elvish Lothlorien vibes. I'm going to be using a swing coat pattern that I got off of Gertie's Patreon. I will have a link below, but this pattern, I actually received the PDFs, the instructions, and I was able to print that away. So I'm going to be using that as my base. It comes in a long format and then a shorter format. I'm going to be doing the shorter format just because I prefer that as the jacket of my end product that I'm going to have. It's a really cute jacket. I love the way that they look in the pictures, but mine, of course, are gonna have those Middle-earth vibes. So I wanted to get a fabric that would resemble the fabric of the cloaks in the Fellowship of the Ring. But if you look at the fabric in different lighting, in the different scenes, they will appear green or brown or gray. So honestly, I felt like there was a little bit of room for interpretation there of what I went after. I was initially hoping to find kind of like a muted forest green, a dusty green, if you will, but I didn't luck out with that. I ended up getting kind of a brown herringbone tweedy looking fabric, which I'm going to use for the outer layer. But to work in that green, I did get a green satin twill, which will be for the lining on the inside. I'm going to use a snap enclosure at the top for the button, if you will. But to bring it all together, I am planning to 3D print one of the elvish leaf brooches or little clips that they wear with all of their cloaks. So I'm planning to print that on my 3D printer and paint it, and I'm hoping it'll just pull the whole look together. So the goal of this, obviously, I want to be able to join the Fellowship, but I also want to blend in my everyday wear. Swing coat, but make it Lord of the Rings, and I'm hoping that my skill level is there to complete this project. Because you likely know, I am a new beginner sewer. I got my sewing machine for Christmas a little early, I will be honest, and I've made a couple projects so far. I've been having a lot of fun with it, but I am definitely learning, but that's part of the fun part. So first up, I'm going to get all my fabric pieces cut and ready to go so that we can get sewing and we won't have to stop and do that later. So I spent all night last night cutting out pattern pieces and watching Netflix. It took a lot longer than I thought, and I think that's just a lesson to store away, that cutting and prepping the pieces takes me much longer than I anticipate. But now I've got them all here. I'm ready to start sewing. I'm gonna start by sewing some of the back outer pieces together and the darts, and then I will go on from there. Wow. That I did a shoulder dart. Who would have thought? It looks so classy. If you can't tell, I am a beginner sewer, and all things amaze me. I'm gonna repeat now for the other side. Oh gosh, I didn't leave myself enough tails. Dang it. I kept saying in my head now was, remember the tail! And all I got thinking of was Dr. Yui from Dune, remember the tooth! Dune fans get it, right? Oh yeah, look at those tails. Take that. Back darts. I mean, I know I'm going for Lothlorien Cloak vibes, but I gotta say, I'm picking up some major Ray from Nowhere vibes. Especially Last Jedi-esque, her poncho cape that she wears on Octu, and I'm here for it. Okay, I just went ahead and pinned my lining to my pockets, and I'm gonna get those going now. There's a lot of pins. Wow. You really like pins, Monica. Great job. My last sewing video, I saw that I like to go like this. Not that. Well, that's what it looks like on sped up. And so I'm trying not to chew on my lips or like purse my lips while I'm sewing. And I don't know if I'm succeeding. So pardon those lips. They're concentration lips. So here is kind of my first fitting, if you will. Remember, this is a swing coat, so it's going to hit the top of my kind of legs, thighs. I do think, though, I like the length it is at right now. So I think I'm going to need to be very conservative with my seam stitching at the bottom, and usually I go a little bit overboard. I like the way it looks, though. I think I might remember this because I feel like I would even use this as like a vest and like layer things, like a loose vest. It is a little snug at the armpits, and I'm wearing a sweatshirt, but I'm wondering if I need to let this out just a little bit and not stitch all the way up to the top, and see if I need to make an adjustment there. But so far, I mean, so good. So I'm working on the sleeves now. I just did the side stitching, and then I just did the like a loose stitch around to ease the sleeves. Ease the sleeves, whatever that means. I think I know what it means, but I don't. So I just spilled water on my messy, crowded workstation, which I was trying not to show you. But of course, this is what I'm working with, okay? I gotta let stuff out. Anyways, spilled my water. I knew I was gonna do it when I put my water bottle here because I thought, you're risking it, but could have been worse. I got in this one little area. Could have been worse, John. A lot worse. Hey girl, would you like some sleeves? I've never made sleeves before, and also, I really feel like I need to give my mannequin a name, and I give inanimate objects names often, okay? I blame Toy Story. The only name I can think of is Girl because I have the Lady Gaga song stuck in my head. And so every time I'm talking to my mannequin, I'm thinking in my head, hey girl, hey girl, hey girl. I guess the question is, am I Florence or am I Gaga? That's yet to be determined. Sleeves. Really long sleeves. Okay, don't worry, girl. These are cuff sleeves, so these are gonna roll up in a minute, but give me a sec. Welcome back. Day 2 of the Lothlorien inspired swing coats. As you can see, I finished up last night by attaching the sleeves, which was probably the hardest thing I've done so far. It was just challenging to put them into the shoulder hole and the armpit hole. I tried this on and it's a little snug. So I'm wondering if my seam allowances were just a little bit too lenient, or if maybe I chose the wrong size for the pattern. I know sometimes people say you should size up and then kind of tailor it into you, but I'm not fully confident I can tailor it into me. So I kind of went with my true to size. But I think it's coming together pretty well. You can't really see, but we've got some long sleeves. And that's because these are gonna be cuff sleeves and they're gonna roll up. So it's coming together. The jacket outer is pretty much intact, and now I'm gonna get started on the lining and the interfacing. bobbin thread is going to just make it, if we make it. Everybody cross your fingers and cross your toes. Anzu, that means you too. We made it! It's a sewing miracle! Yes. Alrighty, Dighty. We've got our kind of front coat facing. It's going to be on the inside layer. It's got actual interfacing on it to kind of give it that structure. And now I think we're going to start on the lining. Ooh. Here we have our 3D printed Lothlorien leaf brooch. I've got to clean it up now and attach a pin to the back, paint it, and hopefully it's not too big for our jacket. Lothlorien-esque swing coats. I think it turned out okay. I think I have a ton of things to learn in the world of sewing and assembling garments and jackets specifically. And oh, come on, go ahead. Go ahead. You can go upstairs. See ya. Sorry, we had a passerby. Anyways, I think I have a lot to learn, right? I had some difficulties that I certainly ran into, and the way the jacket turned out, I think it looks okay, but there are some things that I think were done on my part of errors. I like the fabric, I like the look of it. I just think there's a couple things that don't lay exactly right, which is probably on me. So like this piece in here does have some interfacing, sticks out slightly. And I think part of that could be either the way I assembled them things or the fabric I chose. I know in the pattern, they recommended that you kind of go for a heavier fabric or like a wool for an actual outer garment. And when I went to the fabric store, they really didn't have a ton of options, especially in the color that I wanted. So I ended up going with this much lighter fabric, maybe made it lay differently. So it kind of does like a weird stick out thingy. I think I could probably remedy that by adding some buttons all the way down so that it kind of snapped more together. But the point of a swing jacket, right, is for it to kind of swing and kind of be a loose open jacket. So I do have two snaps here at the top, which I think those came together fine, and they kind of help the top section stay together. It's just this bottom section I don't love how it lays. Another section that I had trouble with were the armholes and kind of attaching the sleeves to the bodice piece. I'll be honest, when I first was working on the outer layer and I tried it on, I didn't think it was gonna fit me because it was super tight in the armhole area. And then when I did the lining, which I don't think I've really shown you, I have this nice satiny green lining in here and I put it in the jacket, all of a sudden it fit. So I don't know if it is a Lothlorien miracle, you know, like one size fits all and it's just gonna work to your body. I feel like that's something that would happen with elvish garments. Or if with the satiny fabric, it kind of hides the rougher seams and whatnot, which maybe my arm was kind of getting stuck on. Maybe I did trim some seams down. And yeah, it fits fine. So I don't know what happened, but it is a Lothlorien miracle. I did do 2 snaps. The template actually called just for 1, but I wanted my jacket to kind of lay a little better, closer together. And honestly, I did kind of go down the row on each side and do just a little like stitch here and there to kind of try to hold the pieces together, because again, I just feel like mine wasn't laying or draping quite as nicely as they showed in the examples. But the sleeves are super nice. I do like the way that it all lays. The back kind of came together fine with the shoulder darts and everything. It really was the challenging part for me was this front, and it could be the type of interfacing I chose, I don't know, and then also attaching the sleeves. So I know that'll probably get better and easier, or at least I hope it does. I would probably try to use this template again and more so just make kind of a cape. By using these pieces. I really liked how when I was draping things together, how it looked before I had the arms on. So I'm kind of wondering if I could use that as a base to kind of assemble like a cape for Rey, or even a Lothlorien cape, not a swing jacket. Of course, I did add this elvish Of course, I did add this elvish brooch. Here we go. Of course, I did add this elvish brooch, and obviously that gives the most obvious Lothlorien vibes because that's what they're wearing with all of their capes. Added it as a brooch, more decorative than functional, if anything, but 3D printed it on a silver filament, and then I painted it with 2 green acrylic paints and then kind of covered over some painting mistakes and also just gave it a glossy finish with some silver acrylic paint. But I really like how this turned out. I actually had to 3D print a couple because I was just getting the sizing all wrong. They were coming out really big. So I painted another one. I'm probably gonna put it on Anzu's collar so that he can be part of the fellowship too. This was a sewing trial. Obviously, I am still a newbie beginner, so I apologize. This is not so much of a tutorial, it's more of a sewing vlog. So far, I've made this Lothlorien swing coat, I made kind of a Slytherin-esque gathered skirt, and I made a Wonder Woman apron. Those are kind of my 3 sewing projects total. I am totally a newbie here, so I try not to bite off too much, but I'm working on that. Thank you for watching this video with my attempt to make a Lothlorien-esque swing coat. If you like this video, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I post geeky recipes, attempts at sewing projects, DIYs, trailer reactions, interviews, all with a geek twist.